and welcome to episode 16 of the Graceful Tangle podcast. I'm Amy Kate, a young but passionate knitter and crocheter. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Etsy, Ravelry, and Pinterest as The Graceful Tangle. On Ravelry and Etsy, you can find and purchase my knit and crochet patterns. And also on Ravelry, you can find the Graceful Tangle podcast group and join in on all of the fun chatter we have going on over there. I also have a blog, which will be linked in the description box below, and my newest post, which will also be linked, is going to be all about this podcast and have all of the show notes and links and stuff like that to the things that I talk about today. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out, and then also subscribe over there so that you get a notification via email every time I make a new post. I'm so excited to be back with you guys today, but before we jump into finished objects, let me just ask you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and then don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you get notified each and every time I upload a video. So with that, let's just move right along into finished objects because I finally have something to show you. So if you tuned into episode 15, you know that I started college a week and a half ago, and last week I did not have very much to show you because I was completely bogged down in school. And I'm not gonna lie, I am still pretty bogged down, but I still have been able to get a few things done, and I am so excited for that. So I actually have 3 finished objects, but only one of them I'm going to talk about today. My first one is my test knit for Chantal of Knititude. I finished my stockinette beginner raglan light, so that is done, but I'm going to hold off on showing that until the pattern is released so that we can build up the excitement for that release for Chantal. But then I also finished my box top, which is a crochet test that I was doing for Melissa of Woods and Wool, and again I'm going to hold off on showing you that project in full until the pattern is released. But I love how both of those sweaters turned out, and I cannot wait to share the finished objects with you, so stay tuned for that. But for right now, I'm going to show you these socks, and I have sock blockers, and they make me feel so professional, which probably makes me sound unprofessional for saying that, but that's okay. So these are my socks that I started for Sock Week 2020, which is a challenge that was hosted by Natalie of Nitty Natty and the Nitty Natty YouTube channel and Love and Stitches podcast. I actually have a recap video all about Sock Week 2020, which you can find on my channel, but I just now finished the second sock. So the first sock that I knit was this one. And I knit this along with the challenge, completed it within a week, and then made the YouTube video all about it. And then this is the second one, and I just now finished it. So this sock took me a week. This sock took me 2 weeks, I think. But that's totally okay. I mean, I've done so much work on other projects while working on these socks, so that's totally fine. I'm going to talk a little bit about the yarn that I used in the pattern. However, that Sock Week recap video will have a bunch of details as well. So the pattern that I used is a modified version of the 9-inch vanilla sock tutorial on the Crazy Sock Ladies YouTube channel. That was kind of all jumbled up. I think I got that title wrong, but basically it's the pattern by the Crazy Sock Lady. However, for these specific socks, I did make a few changes. I still knit the size small, which is the 56 stitch count. However, I used a size 0 needle instead of a size 1 in hopes that it would tighten my gauge just a little bit to make for a snugger fitting sock. It did change a little bit, and I'm not sure if I would use size 0s again. I think I prefer using size 1s as a whole. I don't know. I mean, it did change a little bit, but not really enough to matter, I don't think. Another modification that I made was a 2x2 ribbed cuff instead of a 1x1, and I really like the way that looks. So I definitely think that will be something that I do in another pair of socks in the future. I also still love a 1x1, so I think I'm going to be going back and forth, which is totally fine and makes it more fun. But yeah, so I did do a 2x2 for these, and then I also did an afterthought heel, which was really fun. And I love the way that it fits, actually. It really hugs my heel. The heel flap and gusset fits well, but it is a little bit baggy on my, like where my Achilles tendon is, because of just how the gusset or the heel flap is shaped. It doesn't fit me super well, I don't think, but at the same time it's super comfortable. So I think if I would wear hand knit socks with like boots or something for the winter, I would prefer these. A snugger fitting sock and something that holds my, and kind of hugs my heel, but I don't know, I really like both. My next pair of socks that I want to make, well, a couple. So what I'm doing right now is kind of making a whole bunch of different pairs of socks and kind of figuring out what I like and don't like about the way that they fit. So again, for these I did an afterthought heel, and for my first pair I did a heel flopping gusset. So for my next pair I would actually really like to try a German short row heel. I love doing German short rows. I do not enjoy doing wrap and turns, but German short rows are my favorite short row method for like knitting sweaters and things like that. I actually will modify if a pattern calls for wrap and turns, unless it's a test knit, of course. I would not make that modification if it was a test knit, but if it's a pattern that I'm just making for myself and following, you know, as a regular knitter, I will actually modify the wrap and turn short rows for German short rows because I really prefer them. But because of that, I think that I would enjoy doing a wrap and turn, German short row heel. I got it out. I think that's what I want to do next. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I really love the ribbing, but I also really love a 1x1 rib. And I think I'm going to stick with the 56 stitches. I did consider going to 52 and using the size 1 needle and seeing what that would do. And I'm still tempted to do that. We'll see. We'll see. It depends on the next pattern that I choose. If I want to do a vanilla sock or design my own sock, which is actually something that I really want to do. But yeah. We'll have to see. But those are those socks. The yarn that I use is a Deborah Norville Serenity sock weight. I'm not sure about the colorway. I have had this yarn for years and years. And I'm just not getting around to using it, which is okay because I've been wanting to knit socks with it since I got it, and I'm so glad that I finally was able to do it. Let me see if there was anything else. Okay, there was one more thing that I want to talk about, and that is the amount of yarn that I used. So I was hoping that I would be able to get this full pair of socks out of the one skein of yarn. I was not able to do that. However, that being said, I have not weighed these socks yet. The balls come in 50 grams, and I haven't weighed these yet. It might be 50 grams. I'm not sure if the skein that I used was completely full. Like, I don't know if I used it for something else first. I don't remember. So I did have to bust into the second skein for, like, I think this blue stripe and this orange and white stripe for the toe, and then for the heel, which kind of looks weird. The yarn did something weird. I don't really know what happened. But you can see like there's a tiny, tiny blue stripe and a tiny, tiny orange and white stripe and a tiny, tiny gray stripe. And then it goes into the purple. So there was a knot. I don't know if that was something that I did or something that was kind of a manufacturing problem, but it's fine. You can't really tell. And I don't really mind the way that the heels look. They don't match and the rest of the sock does. But that actually doesn't bother me. I kind of like it because like this one has the orange, the blue, and the purple, and this one has, sorry about that. This one has the purple, the green, and the purple, so I kind of like it. They all kind of go together. But yes, really, really love these socks, and I'm really excited to start a new pair very soon. So that is my one and only finished object that I'm going to show y'all today. Now let's jump into some works in progress. Alrighty, so the first work in progress that I'm going to show you guys today is something that you have seen before. My other two are new. So this is the sample knit that I am doing for Sorella Yarn, and I have gotten a lot done on this week. I'm actually going to try to finish it this next week, and I'm hoping that I can do that. We'll see. We'll see. I have a lot going on this week, but I'd like to try to do it. So I have finished the body. These green strands, this is my stitches are on hold for the sleeves, so that's what that is. It's obviously not going to stay there. And then this is going to get blocked, so it's not going to actually fold over like that. I think it's just because of the ribbing that's placed there and the gauge change. I think it's totally fine. But yes, so this is the Seaside sweater, the kid size for from Petite Knit. Again, this is a sample knit for Sorella yarn. And I love this so much. It has been so much fun to knit. It's taken me a little while longer than expected, but that's okay. I'm not on any strict deadlines. I would just like to get it to them soon, of course. But yeah, so it has stripes going down the body, and I really love the colors that Ashley picked for this yarn, for this pattern. In the pattern, she uses, like the designer used, 2 solid colors, and then as you can see, this is like a super tonal, kind of like grayish tan. It's not, I wouldn't call it tan. It has a lot of gray, but it has like a brown aftertone kind of to it. I really like it. And then this is like a multi-colored that has this exact brown color in it. I just love it so much. Their yarn, Sorella yarn, is just amazing. I want to see if I can show you. Okay, so right on this stripe, this happens multiple times, but I'm just going to try to show you. So you can see kind of along here that this, so it's held double. 2 strands of each yarn are held double. And so one strand of the multi completely matched the strand of, or the double strands of this solid, or like the grayish color. So, I don't know. I just love the way that this looks. I love knitting it. I'm really excited to start the sleeves. I think they're going to go pretty fast because they're tiny. It's for, I'm making the 4 to 5 year old size. And so they're tiny sleeves. And yeah, I just have to follow the striping pattern, do some decreases, and then it should be done. Really, really excited about this. Again, I just love how it's knitting up, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to sample knit for Sorella yarn. It's amazing. So yeah, there's that. Again, I am holding a fingering weight held double for this project, which just makes it so squishy. I will say that my gauge is a little bit tight. Like it's what the pattern calls for. But every now and then it can be a little bit difficult to kind of keep my gauge, I guess, just because it's not as loose as what I'm used to knitting. But yeah, it's been an amazing experience so far. So yeah, really excited to make some more progress on this. Again, I'm hoping to get it done this week, but we'll see. My goal is at least 1 sleeve, and I'm sure I'll be able to do that. Alright, and my next work in progress is something brand new. This is a new test knit, and I love it so much. So this is going to be the Oceana sweater by Jacqueline Cieslak. Drop in the pattern. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if I put it off the cover page. Let's see. I don't think I did. This is a top-down raglan sweater. It's going to have long sleeves, and there's a couple of different options of what you can do in the pattern. So she has numbers for a sport weight version or the worsted weight version, and a cropped length or a like regular length. So I am doing the worsted weight cropped sweater, or cropped version. I am knitting the size extra small, I think is what she calls it. I'm making the smallest size. She calls it a size 1. Yeah, she calls it a size 1. So, I'm knitting the size 1. And I love it so far. So, it has these half brioche stitch details. This is the center back. And then this is the raglan increases. And so the way that this is constructed, you work flat for a portion of the yoke, and then I am just about to join in the round and do more raglan increases, and then split for the sleeves and work the body. I'm really, really excited to see this continue to grow. I was actually hoping to join in the round like the other day, but it just didn't end up happening. I just ran out of time. But I'm really excited to continue to work on this. So yes, like I said, this is a test knit. The yarn that I am using is Cascade Pacific Worsted. This is the color 62. They just have colorway numbers for the colorway names, but it's this gorgeous silvery charcoal gray, and I absolutely love it. So I actually have like an outfit all planned out for this. I have some olive green like athletic sweatpants that are kind of high-waisted that I think would look cute. But if those look a little bit weird with it, like if they're too baggy for this look, then I also have some olive like skinny jeans that I think are gonna look super cute too. So that's kind of my plan for this. I love having an outfit in mind for a sweater as I knit it. But yes, I'm hoping to make lots more progress on this week. My goal is definitely to join in the round, and I would love to split for the sleeves. So that's where we're at so far. Again, loving it. And I am using a size 7 needle, I believe, if you're curious. Size 7, yes. In my favorite Knit Picks nickel-plated needles. So that is that project. Brand new test knit. And then I'm also working on another new test knit. So this is another test for Chantal of Knititude. I have test knit for her quite a few times now, but it's really exciting. I love testing for her. She is so amazing to work with, and all of her patterns are extremely easy to follow. So this test is super exciting. So this is the Peekaboo Maxi Skirt, as it is called right now. That name could change, but I think that's going to be its final name. So that is what it looks like. And this is my first knit skirt. Not only that, but this will be my first time wearing a maxi skirt like this. I don't usually enjoy wearing skirts. They just aren't really my style. But I'm actually really excited to see how this fits me. So I have literally just gotten started. I waited on my yarn to come for a little while, and so I am not far into it at all. But that's just fine. And my needles are like weirdly twisted. Let's see if I can fix this. So the way that this is constructed, it is top down. So you start at the waistband and work all the way down. It is a lot of stockinette, which is perfect because that means it's going to be completely mindless. And here's where I'm at so far. So I have literally just started. This is going to be the very top waistband, and then I'm going to knit a few inches and then fold it over and sew in some elastic so that it is tight around my waist. And then I will just do some increases and work all the way down the body, or the legs, I guess. The body of the skirt. I mean, that's what we should call it. But yeah, really, really excited for this. Again, I know it's hard to tell what it is because I'm not done much at all. But the yarn that I am using is Knit Picks Swish DK. This is the colorway Delft Heather, I think is how you say it. It is this gorgeous blue. I love it. It's kind of denim-y, so it's going to look kind of like a denim skirt. I'm really excited about this. I hope that it's going to look good on me, but we'll see. I'm kind of thinking, so it's high-waisted and it's really long. So I'm hoping that it's going to like make me look a little bit taller. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, I think I'm really going to love it, and I'm going to fully enjoy knitting it. So super excited about this. I did have to go down a needle size to achieve gauge, but that is totally okay. I'm using a size 7 needle right now, and then I'll move to a size 8 when I finish the waistband. And she just called for a size 8 and a size 9. So I got the gauge that I needed with a size 8 that I needed for the size 9, if that makes sense. So I knew that I needed to go down a size, and that is working perfectly. Absolutely perfect. I really, really love this. It's going well, even though I'm like 5 rows in. I'm really excited to put some more work into this. But yeah. So with that, let's move right along into some design talk. So for design talk today, I'm just going to talk about one project that I'm really excited about. It is going to be called the Woolly Ridges hat pattern, and it is going to be released so soon. So this is a messy bun beanie hat pattern. It uses Knit Picks Simply Wool Twist, which is a brand new line for them. And this is the worsted weight version in the color Wordsworth and Wanda. It's this beautiful gray and white mold yarn, and I absolutely love it. It is a 100% wool. So this hat is so warm and squishy. It is heavily textured, as you can see, which is just so much fun. And yeah, I'm really excited to get this out to you guys. It is going to be coming very soon. But yeah, I absolutely love how this turned out. Love, love, love it. So yeah, I am working on quite a few designs behind the scenes, but I'm not quite ready to show them yet. Some things are, I'm looking at swatches right now. Some things are very secret. So yeah, really hoping that all those things pan out. But until then, we will focus on just a couple things at a time. But yes, this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. Absolutely love this beanie pattern. I love knitting messy bun beanies, and I love wearing them. So yeah, I hope you guys are excited about this pattern. And yeah, I can't wait to get it out to you. So for my devotional this week, I wanted to talk a little bit about a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So I have kind of learned a little bit about each of these different types of mindsets through college. Actually, I had to watch a couple of videos for an assignment, and it was about this, and I was thoroughly intrigued and really interested to learn about mindsets and kind of how it affects us, because if we don't have the right mindset when we go into a new task or a new assignment or a new chapter of our lives, it can really dictate our reactions and our attitudes that we have during that time. So first off, let me just kind of like define a growth versus a fixed mindset. So if you have a growth mindset, you believe that you can grow. You can learn more things. You make mistakes, but you believe that you learn from them and you move forward. You don't stay fixated on those things and let that one mistake kind of destroy you or ruin that day or whatever. And then a fixed mindset, you believe that everything that you can learn is determined at birth. So you believe that you have a certain amount of things that you're going to learn, and that's it. You aren't eager to learn new things because you believe that you will kind of just naturally learn the things that you were supposed to, if that makes sense. So I just want to kind of take the growth mindset and move it over to Christian and how I believe that we are supposed to have a growth mindset. So as Christians, in order to truly be followers of Christ and to strive to be more like Him, we have to come to the understanding that we aren't perfect, but that our sins are not the end. They're not the end all be all. Jesus' death on the cross forgives all of our sins. And so now it's our decision to ask for repentance and then move forward and grow from that mistake and that bad decision, instead of letting that bad thing dictate the rest of your day, your week, your life. I mean, God doesn't, when we ask for repentance and when we ask for forgiveness and when we move forward, God moves forward too. He doesn't judge us based on our sins or based on what we've done. He judges us based on how we respond to those things and how we choose to move forward and follow Him in a better and different way. So I just want to encourage you that a growth mindset is really important. We have to believe that we can grow as humans and as people and as followers of Jesus in order to really make a difference in the world and be the best me or the best you that you can be. So with that, I just want to encourage you and hope that you have an amazing rest of your week. Thank you so much for joining me today for episode 16. Again, you can find all of the show notes for this podcast in the description box below, and just click on the link to my blog. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and then don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can get notified each and every time I upload a video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you all again next time. Bye.